Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our Thursday lecture. As you may already know, my name is Yana Ovcharenko, and I am an outreach coordinator here at EducationUSA Ukraine. And let me just kindly remind you that EducationUSA is your official source on US higher education, and you can reach out to us if you need some guidance, some assistance. We would be happy to help you. And all resources we can provide you with and all consultations, they are absolutely free. So yeah, Education USA is here for you. And today we have a very interesting topic to present, pursuing a STEM degree in the US. And we have our amazing guest speaker, Missy, who is going to lead our today's session. And Missy is going to share some insights, tips, and just share how the process of pursuing STEM looks like in America. So, Missy, the floor is yours. Go ahead.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes. My name is Missy Leuthold, and I am the Assistant Director of International Recruitment here at the University of Northern Iowa. And just like Yana said, we are going to be talking about pursuing a STEM degree in the US. So I'm not necessarily here to convince you to pursue a STEM degree or change your mind about STEM degrees, but just provide a little bit more information of like why STEM is important and how it might benefit you as an international student studying in the US. So first, what does STEM stand for? So STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and math. And so the programs or the disciplines that are designated as STEM, they tend to fall into these categories, right? So if any of these topics or subjects interest you, then a STEM major at a U.S. university would maybe be a good fit for you. Specifically at UNI, we do offer degree programs that are undergraduate and graduate levels. So something for you to look at as well when you're exploring your options about studying in the US, whether it's for an undergraduate or a bachelor's degree or a master's degree. A lot of universities offer both STEM subjects. So again, why STEM is important. So with the ever-changing career fields and technology, STEM does a really good job of preparing students for the future, right? So it gives you the opportunity to kind of be ahead of the curve with again, the workforce and with jobs changing. STEM is very, very much hands-on learning or project-based learning. So instead of just sitting in a lecture hall listening to a professor speak for an hour and a half, it is very hands-on learning. You get experiences, and then a lot of what you learn in the classroom, then you have to apply it to real-world situations. The other thing is STEM really encourages innovation, right? So it really encourages students to do that critical thinking, which because of technology, we can take advantage of that, right? So like AI, for example, you can ask ChatGPT anything, but STEM again encourages students to think outside of the box and think innovatively. And like I previously mentioned, it builds a competitive workforce. So it kind of gives you a leg up and gives you a leverage because you are focusing on different innovative hands-on learning. So it makes you more competitive when you're looking at jobs outside of your college education. And then two, like I said, because the world is constantly changing and shaping into different things and technology is always developing, STEM programs address real world challenges for students to be a part of that research. Again, STEM jobs are in high demand in the US. It makes up some of the fastest growing industries. On this slide is a little bit more data of what STEM degrees or STEM occupations are in the U.S. So the U.S. Department of Labor reported over 10 million workers in STEM occupations, and is going to grow again in the next 10 years. And then also, if you're looking to make some money, especially because pursuing an education in the U.S. is an investment, right? Cost for U.S. education continues to increase, but if you're interested in STEM, and you get a job afterwards, the annual wage or the median annual wage tends to be higher than non-STEM programs as well. So again, not trying to talk you in or out of STEM, but just know that there are other benefits that come with STEM programs as well. One thing that I do really want to highlight, though, for international students specifically, when you major in a STEM program and you attend, whether you're a bachelor's degree or say that you're a transfer or even a master's, so the benefit is that you can stay in the U.S. and work for 3 years versus non-STEM designated programs. They can only stay in the U.S. and work for 1 year. So for example, I was an education major, then changed to business, but education at the university I attended was not STEM designated, right? So if I was an international student, I could only stay in the US and work for 1 year until I would have to find another like work visa or sponsor or something like that. But on your F1 visa, a STEM designated, so, engineering, computer science, business analytics, those programs all allow you to stay for 3 years. And which is really, really nice, because a lot of times employers in the US too, they don't want turnover, right? So it's going to be a little bit more challenging to find a job right after graduating from college if you can only stay for 1 year. Versus 3 years, employers are going to look at it as an investment in you and like, hey, we can have this person for 3 years. So that's really beneficial to international students when thinking about majors and disciplines and studying in the U.S. That the long work for 3 years is really beneficial. Again, just a little bit more information on like how jobs are changing and the demands. Obviously, artificial intelligence again is blowing up and is really, really a hot field for students to pursue. And again, just changing what the workforce looks like. So something to think about, right? Is STEM a good fit for me? So a couple of questions that you might want to ask yourself are you comfortable with math? Are you comfortable with new and advancing technology? And are you an innovative, critical thinker? Like I said, critical thinking is really important when it comes to STEM fields, because these are the kind of students that are thinking outside of the box and trying new things and not afraid to fail. And but also like you do have to like certain subjects. I knew from very early on I was not going to be a STEM major because I do not like science, right? And so I stuck with the business route. But again, something to ask yourself and like, hey, maybe it is something that I want to explore. And then what can you do to prepare for a STEM degree, or if it is something that you want to pursue? So what you can do right now as you're considering things is grow your soft skills. So soft skills are more like personable skills, and you want to diversify your skills as well. Like if you're only good at one thing, that's great, but try and challenge yourself and grow in different skills as well as you're preparing for your bachelor's or master's degree. I always think it's great to shadow or be an intern if you could job shadow someone, I think would be a great experience. Because again, something that you might think that you're interested in, and then you go and you're like, oh my goodness, that is not anything that I want to pursue. So again, like if you know someone who's already working in STEM, get their opinion. If you can job shadow for a day, would be a great experience. And like I've said many times in the previous slides, to think outside the box, and just kind of think of possibilities of what might be in the STEM field. So these are a couple of examples of popular STEM degrees within the US. So computer science, so software engineering, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, network administration, all fall underneath the computer science. And again, there are a lot of opportunities to study that program at universities in the US. Same with engineering. Engineering continues to grow and is an ever-changing field, and a lot of job opportunities outside or after graduation in that. The data analytics is gonna look more at, obviously data, and be more in the business field, and you're making decisions based on that data. So again, if you like more like risk management or lack thereof risk management, that would be a good fit for you. Biology, again, is going to be a little bit more of science-based, and then robotics, which is, again, going to be more of the computer science engineering field. Specifically at UNI, we do offer the highlighted degrees, cybersecurity, electrical engineering, business analytics, mathematics, physics, nursing, and then we do offer the automation engineering. UNI was actually one of the very first universities to make their business programs STEM designated. So our business analytics and our accounting programs are both STEM designated. So that brings us to our next slide, and to kind of think outside of the box when you're researching your STEM programs. So accounting, earth science, geography, actuarial science, digital medias, and management information systems are actually all STEM designated at the University of Northern Iowa. So again, if you aren't necessarily as interested in like the sciences or the engineering, do some research and see what schools might offer business or accounting or digital media studies, even geography, right? Like if you like maps, that they offer these outside the box thinking for STEM as well. And the nice thing too is a lot of universities allow you to double major or major in one and minor in the other, so that you can have some flexibility in the majors that you do choose. But that would probably be my biggest tip to you, is when you're researching universities, is see what majors they offer as STEM that are not just your standard computer science, engineering, things like that. Again, like I previously mentioned, business as a STEM, I would say business is probably our most popular major among our international students at the University of Northern Iowa. And so again, something that you will want to research if that's a field that you're interested in. Business still does require math, requires a lot of critical thinking. You have to make big decisions and things like that. So again, could benefit you down the road as you finish your degree, and then you're able to pursue a job in the US for that 1 versus 3 years. And this is Daria. So she's originally from the Ukraine. And so she is a current student at the University of Northern Iowa. Originally, Daria was going to join us, but she had class today. And so I thought, we should probably prioritize her going to class instead. But I just wanted to point out that, you know, that these are very attainable programs and attainable goals for international students. So Daria is a sophomore here, and she's double majoring. Again, I love these students because they're so much smarter than I am and so much more motivated. But she's a double major in mathematics and business analytics. She's currently working as an intern in the business department as well, and doing a lot of the business analytics data research within the business department, which again gives her great experience and makes her more marketable when she graduates and looking for a job afterwards. And then two, you know, students are tend to be well-rounded. And so she's also the vice president, or was the vice president of the International Student Promoters. She's an ambassador. She's part of the actuarial club, tennis club. And like I previously mentioned, worked at the data analysis. If anyone would, you know, like a Ukrainian perspective of what it's like to study in the States, Daria is more than welcome, or more than willing to connect with you. And if you have any specific questions, I can definitely put you in touch with her as well. So just a little bit more about the University of Northern Iowa. So we currently have an enrollment of approximately around 9,000 students. 200 of them are international students. Like I said, we have a lot of different degree programs, over 160 majors and minors for undergraduate. We have around 50 majors for graduate degrees. And then if you've seen that our top countries represented actually include Ukraine, which is great. But then we also have our major countries are China, Ghana, India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. And so obviously always trying to diversify our student population. And then too, like I said with Daria, there's plenty of student organizations to even help you like with those connections to get more into the STEM designated field after you graduate as well. Again, these are our STEM degrees at UNI. So again, thinking outside the box, you know, we have accounting, we have geography, we have our business analytics, our management information system, obviously technology, computer science. But again, just to reiterate, to really do some research on what universities offer or what they claim to be STEM designated for their universities, I think is a great place to start if you're interested in studying STEM and studying in the US. And then just a quick overview of what it costs to attend the University of Northern Iowa. So we undergraduate tuition is approximately $21,000, where graduate is $23,000. The only other mandatory expense is the health insurance. The rest are kind of flexible depending if you live on campus or off campus. Books and supplies, and then personal expenses is all really discretionary and up to the student and their lifestyle. And then here is my information. And so, yeah, like I said, I would love to connect with you, or if you have any, questions after today about, studying in the US in general. If you have questions about STEM programs specifically, we do have a WhatsApp number, or you can email me personally or the international admissions. But yeah, would love to connect and help you with your journey. But other than that, I know that's a lot of information. So yeah, I'm hoping that there's some questions, but that's what I have for you today. Yana, I can't hear you. I don't know if I need to stop presenting.
You still cannot hear me.
Now I can.
you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Again, thank you for a great presentation, and I hope that it's clearer for our viewers what STEM is actually. Yeah, and I see that we have one question in the chat right now, but I really suggest guys who are watching this session now, please put all your questions in the chat because it's kind of like a unique opportunity to get all your answers about STEM education. So please do not hesitate to write them in our chat. Let me see what question we have now. Can you see it? Yeah. So, may you share your LinkedIn, please? I think that this question is for you, Missy.
Yeah, of course. I can share. I'll send it to you, Yana, and then you can send it to anyone who's attended today. That's no problem.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. Yeah, guys, you can reach out to me via our General Education USA email. So you can just Google, like Education USA Ukraine, and you will see our email. You can write me, and I will share LinkedIn, Mrs. LinkedIn with you. Okay, nice. And I have my personal question. Are there kind of like some common financial aid options for international students? I mean, how is how students can get some financial help? And I know that it seems that sometimes it can be easier to have, for example, full ride scholarship when you apply for STEM majors. Is it true?
Yeah, I think that's often a misconception for international students is that universities have these fully funded scholarships, and some universities do, and but it's like for the brightest, best students, right? And they're usually highly competitive for those fully funded. I would say the majority of U.S. Institutes, including you and I, we do offer partial scholarships, right?
Mhm.
And they are merit based as well. So we do award students for good grades and extracurricular activities. So again, just do a lot of research and see what universities do. I would say the majority of universities offer some sort of scholarship. So, for example, at UNI, we offer two specific scholarships for international students. So only international students qualify for those. And like I said, they're merit based, so they're based on your grades and your extracurricular activities. And then there's some departments that do give. So to your question, Yana, is that, like if biology thought that you were a good fit and you were a biology major, then they might award you a biology scholarship from their department as well. So yeah, a lot of universities do it that way, that they award scholarships based on your program. But I think the fully funded is pretty hard to find.
Got you. But it is still possible, guys. So try your best, and we believe in you. And again, if you need any help, you can always have some advice from Education USA Ukraine. And my next question, are there any special, I don't know, requirements international students have to meet to apply for STEM majors? I mean, of course, I know that there are some common requirements. Yeah, usually you have to take English proficiency test,
Right.
sometimes SAT, and then, like complete your application profile, write an essay. But maybe there are some special requirements regarding STEM majors.
Yeah, and some of that is based on the university. So, right, like that you would get a general admission to the university, and then you would have to apply to that specific program or that specific department. The only one that we have like that here at UNI is nursing, where you apply to UNI, and then you have to apply to the nursing program as well. But like I said, other universities might require you to apply to the university and then apply to like the engineering program. Because again, like some of the more prestigious universities, that those are going to be highly competitive, right? So that you would have to apply. And again, it's probably going to look at your GPA or your grade point average or your marks, and then award admission based on that. So again, at UNI, you know, as long as you meet the general admission requirements, then besides nursing, we don't make you reapply to like the STEM majors. I think that's another misconception that international students have, is that they can only, like, whatever they're studying, you know, now that they have to study that in the US or once they get to college. And there's a lot more flexibility, and like a lot, like the academics are a lot more fluid.
Mm-hmm.
So you could, you know, like I said, double major or major in one, minor in the other. And even if you pick something like, say, like, oh, you know, like after hearing today, I don't think STEM is for me, but then you decide to come to the US as like, say, you know, an education major, and you want to change it, like you still can do that. And you don't have to reapply or be readmitted or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, got it. Thank you for your answer. And we have another question in the chat. Let me show it on a screen. What kind of extracurricular activities are most highly rated to entry to American university?
Yeah, that's a good question. I wouldn't say that one is better than the other, but I do think that students who are well-rounded tend to stick out more than a person that just did one thing, right? So, for example, your extracurricular, like if you were captain of the debate team and that's all you did, like that's great. That is a great extracurricular. But say that you were captain of the debate team, but then you were also part of you know, the peer tutors, and you tutored younger students. So it's not like you have to have 10 things, but also like don't just have one thing. So I think it's best to diversify your extracurriculars. And again, there's not one that's more highly rated than others. So it's like, oh, you know, if you play sports, you're gonna get a better chance of getting admitted. It's just more so in a sense of like what kind of like those soft skills we talked about, like what leadership roles are you taking, how are you impacting your community and those around you. And so if you can think of ways that extracurricular activities do that and can portray that in your application, I think that will be most beneficial.
Mm-hmm. Yes, thank you. And follow-up question. Do you think that it's kind of like a good idea to put emphasis on the activities that kind of related to your future major? For example, if I'm going to apply for computer studies, yeah, should I include different activities that is connected with this area, or should I still diversify my list of activities?
Yeah, I definitely think that you should highlight that, especially if you have experience, because like I said, some universities grant scholarships based on department. And so if you have experience in the computer science world, then that's going to make you stand out to that department, right? That they were like, ooh, this seems like a good student. Like we want them to be part of our program. So yes, I would definitely, if you have that experience, I would definitely highlight that on your application and your scholarship application, especially as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I believe that for now we do not have any more questions in the chat. Thank you for those who put them in our box. Yeah, and I think that we can finish here. Thank you, Missy, that you have decided to spend this time with us and share your expertise. We value it a lot. And again, thank you for sharing your contacts. I think that our students will definitely reach out to you, and we really appreciate your readiness, to help them. Yeah, just thank you very much. Thank you, everyone who was with us tonight and who is going to watch this session in recording. Bye.
Yes, thank you.